Welcome to Undressing Intimacy, where we cut through the bullshit
Quickie,
so we can get naked.
you can say that.
Why not? How would you say it then?
Well, maybe more like, welcome to Undressing Intimacy, where we undress emotionally so we can undress physically.
That's exactly what I said. Not sure what the problem is. Welcome to episode number
69.
69. We made it to our favorite number.
Woo-woo.
Exciting thing today is we're going to let Amy tell you about all of her favorite positions and why she loves them.
Right. No.
No, just kidding. We're not going to do that. But we want to offer something special for our 69 episode. Today's episode, we want to offer you, if you go review and like the podcast on whatever you're listening to it on, we will enter you into a drawing for some free coaching.
3 free coaching sessions.
It's hard to say that in
It is.
that succession. So
3
I don't say it
free.
because then I'll fumble over it.
And
We'd love to do that.
obviously, we won't know who you are except by whatever name you identify, whether it's Frogger3 or
Yep.
something or us. Anyways, and then we will come back in 2 weeks and announce who has won by that name and have you contact us, email us, and we'll give you 3 free sessions.
So go straight into however you listen to us, give us those stars, and leave a review. We would love it, and we will enter you into the contest for our 69 episode.
You like saying that, don't you?
No, I'm just telling them what episode it is.
No, you like saying that. Come on, be honest.
So actually, Amy and I had a conversation about this while she's picking on me. We get going. We had a conversation about this a lot. We've talked about several of our clients lately that have started really hyper-focusing on a position or a toy or a situation and how they really, really desire it. And it's not bad that they desire it, but it's the hyper-focus that we find is deceiving and doesn't get them what they really want. So today's episode, dedicated to 69,
You know
It's
you
gonna be
wanna say
about-
that. You're laughing, admit it.
I did not.
I hope you can hear the chuckle in his voice.
Dedicated to 69, we're going to talk about why hyper-focusing on certain positions and toys is not usually beneficial.
Yes. And again, this isn't to put any judgment on any type of position, toy, circumstance, situation. That is not our focus. It's that we see couples trying to use these to get something. And when the focus becomes really zeroed in on a certain situation, toy, position, fantasy, you actually lose track of each other and one another. And this hyper focus takes you from the experience out of the experience, right? You're then trying to produce something instead of experience something.
That is correct. We are big fans of 69, don't get me wrong. But you're right. As soon as we take it into a place where now the focus is primarily on the thing we're doing in the act, we've automatically set an expectation. And we've talked about how those expectations cause problems in intimate relationships, because if you set an expectation, you set a measurement. You set a measurement, now we have to do certain things, hit certain criteria to be successful. And where eroticism and intimacy lives and grows is when those expectations aren't there. So as soon as we set those expectations, we've killed the ability to have this erotic moment.
It kills the life and vibrancy that is there from just being present. So let's give a few examples so we can be even more clear about this. And this doesn't only just apply to sexual, but also like physical affection or just affection and anything physical in general. I see it framed a lot. If my spouse would just ... then I would feel ... If my spouse would just give me oral, then I would feel that I was really chosen. I hear things like this all the time. And again, I'm not speaking for or against anything. What I am saying is there now you've placed all of this expectation on one thing and are probably missing all the ways that your spouse is choosing you, and also not actually fully being present because you're waiting for this one thing and using this one thing to measure and track and create expectations rather than be fully present. And it's presence that creates this vibrancy and this connection. I was coaching with a couple today who were kind of struggling with this and sharing with them that our bodies become the like conduit of our souls. And in this physical and sexual experience, it allows our souls to speak, to connect. And all we have is our bodies to do that. Our bodies with all of these different parts. And it's about being able to be fully in your body or fully embodied that allows this soul to soul connection. And it's not about whose hand is where, whose mouth is where, what is where, so much as can you be fully present in your body so that you can receive this soul to soul connection.
Interesting part about it is when I got rid of those expectations, because I had a list of them, right? So we were checking it down if Amy would do, and I had a list, like check them off, check them off, check them off. And, as soon as we checked them off, then I'd look back and go, well, that wasn't as exciting as I thought it was going to be.
It can often be quite disappointing.
They're a letdown because you'd made it up in your mind. But when you get to a place where you're in a presence of just being in each other's presence, these things can all happen and to be wonderful. And that's why we're saying we're not against or for any certain position or any sexual act. It's up to you to decide what that looks like for you in your marriage. And if it's something that you want or desire, or your partner wants and desires, and you're willing to try. But if you solely focus on that, that's when the presence goes away. And when you don't, and you are present, then wherever that takes you, that's where it becomes wonderful. And I've said this probably 100 times, and I'll say it again because I really mean it. Like, just get the hell out of your own way, especially my male friends, because we have the ability to fantasize about all the positions.
Or whoever the higher desire
I know, I put
is.
it that way, but that's most of them I was talking about. We're able to fantasize about all of them all day long, and we know how exactly it's going to look. And when I finally decided to get out of the way and stop setting those expectations and being in the now, like my mind has literally been blown, right? Because of the joy and happiness that can come when you're co-creating in this moment. I have a slight warning of when you get fixated on something, it's probably a red flag that there's underlying things that need to be taken care of and expectations that are being set that won't allow you to have this erotic moment because it won't live in this pressure of expectations.
Yeah, it's really that if then you've moved into a transactional and now you're trying to measure or trying to place an expectation or a benchmark that like proves or validates what it is you want to be validated. And the first part of it is really, do you even believe in your own desirability first? And can you step into the meaning of your own desirability, of your own capacity to connect and choosing, right? That has to exist first. Let's say that you were asking for oral from me and you think that would make you feel desirable. And then the oral happens and it's totally empty and meaningless. And that could very well be because in the first place, you didn't believe in your own desirability. So even if it was present and that act that you dreamed about was taking place, you have to be able to receive and believe it.
Why are you telling on me?
I'm not telling on you. So it really starts, first of all, with you. And I think in different ways, spouses can have a difficult time stepping into the fullness of their body, being fully embodied. And whether it's expectations that bring you out of that, expectations about how you should be or how your spouse should be or how something should feel, or even just some awkwardness or discomfort with your own body and self. Allowing yourself to be fully present is what allows that soul to soul. Again, regardless of what's moving, touching, being stimulated, whatever, or where, it's that presence and that capacity to bring that presence that is really what brings meaning to whatever's happening.
I have a good client that was ultimately just way focused on this and had tried everything. Went to retreats, bought books, went to coachings, and was ultimately focused on this. And no matter what he tried, it seemed to be even more frustrating because it was putting an expectation on his spouse and causing her to want it even less, like the furthest thing from what she wanted. And as we coached through this and we looked into why this was and the ability to be able to sit back and enjoy the moment and co-create, like he was shocked one time when she's like, "Hey, I want this." He's like, "What? What?" And it just came naturally, and it was something that they both really enjoyed. But it was years of trying to get her to do this one sex act in him that she was so against because it was, again, the pressure behind it was so real that when he got out of his way and he focused on being present and enjoying the moments with her, I lived it for a very long time. And I still find myself sometimes having to stop myself from going there because it's really easy to do when we see this and we put meaning behind it. Then that's the natural next thing is desiring your spouse to do this thing because it's telling you that they actually are choosing you when it's really not telling you that because you're putting expectation around it.
And then you're viewing your spouse kind of like the vending machine. If I put this in, I will get this out. And it doesn't work that way because eroticism and sexuality and choosing have to be freely done.
All right. So I think we've clearly stated why when you get super focused and uber driven by a certain specific sex act, position, whatever it might be, why it can be detrimental to your erotic relationship. With that being said, I don't want to dismiss it completely because we have the other side of the coin where people have these desires. And the other side of the coin, when I got to the point where I felt like I had caused so much damage in our relationship that I lost my voice. And even if I had a desire, I wasn't about to bring it up because one, I felt like I could get rejected.
Mm-hmm.
And two, I didn't want to put any pressure on you because I had known what I had done in the past had put all this pressure from you.
Yeah.
So it's almost like I had to relearn a way to communicate. And maybe we should talk a little about how does that look? What is a healthy way to have a sexual desire and be able to bring that up in a relationship?
Yeah, that's a great question because it's not about just not shutting out. And it is great to have ideas and desires and fantasies. Again, just not putting all of your identity into them. But what really makes those like an asset to your sexual relationship is first when the meaning is clearly established between you that this physical sexual relationship is about choosing and cherishing. And when there is freedom in that relationship to say, yes, no, maybe, let me try, or can you tell me more? When there's freedom in there to explore and also to maybe have boundaries too, right? So that you're not locked in. If one spouse suggests something and the other doesn't feel free to either engage or not engage or engage in some part or shift it in some way, then eroticism can't live, right? There's got to be freedom not only to express, but also freedom to collaborate in that expression.
Right. So just as damning as me being uber focused on a certain sexual act or position, it was just as damaging as you not being willing to try, have an open mind and yuck my yum per se. And so as we grew in our sexuality and you learned that you had desire, and as I grew to realize that I was using it to actually validate myself and I got rid of those things and we worked on those things.
And I think, let me just interrupt right here. One of the things that was really important for me that I just thought of when we were not really in the same meaning frame about sexuality, I misunderstood that your desires to engage with certain parts with me were only about that part instead of seeing that your desire to engage with any part of me
I remember over
was like reaching.
Do you not care anything about my boobs, right? That's like, I'm more than just my boobs.
Yes, exactly. That is how you connect to my soul. Like they aren't disconnected for you. So when you are engaging with my body, do feel my soul.
Right.
Right. And so that meaning really had to be firmly established in me first, that this wasn't about taking or extracting or getting, that you really were moving in to connect, to express love, to express choosing, to engage in pleasure. And so that meaning had to be really clear
Right.
first.
And it would left us empty anyway, right? Because if the meaning wasn't there and you decided, okay, I'm going to give in, try this, it was really reluctant usually. And in the end, it was empty. And so it didn't feel good anyway.
Because you have to have presence.
Right. And I'm telling you, I think I've learned that the actual act itself is not the great thing about it. It's how you react to the act itself,
Or how you respond.
how your partner responds. One, if they're willing to go outside a little bit of their comfort zone, because that means they trust you and say, yes, I'm willing to try this or a part of this, because I trust that one, if it doesn't work, that we don't have to do it and you won't get pouty. And it doesn't mean something to you.
Right.
And then two, when the reaction from that, when it's something that they enjoy or get feeling from, that's to me the more pleasurable part of it.
You're talking about responding to maybe the touch or the idea.
Right.
With pleasure or arousal or willingness.
Right. Like it even just, and this again, I think in general, we've talked about this, like the greatest thing that I enjoy most is turning you on. And that's way more exciting to me than being turned on. If we go into this act and it becomes one-sided because Greg wants to try it, then that's never going to bring the pleasure that it will bring. Then if it's like, hey, yeah, this sounds like fun, let's both delve into this, and then it actually arouses you or enjoy it. And that's not to put pressure, because it has to be real. But that's what I have found out, is that reaction from your partner is way more important than the actual act to me.
And I think in order for there to be that response, again, that meaning has to be firmly in place, that you are wanting to connect with me, with who I am. And all we have is bodies to do that, right?
And novelty is good, right? Eroticism lives in that novelty.
Right. And some change and newness or nuances. And it doesn't have to be big things. It can be small little touches and shifts and looks. It doesn't have to always be like this earth-shattering something. Really can live in even small nuances of even understanding the meaning of something more. So often what couples are missing is one spouse is saying the meaning of XYZ is shameful, and the other one is, no, it's desirable.
Right. They see it from very opposite sides.
Very opposite. And so there's really got to be some sense of a shared meaning, right? And a lot of that shared meaning was about, I want to be close to you. I want to choose you. I want to experience pleasure with you. I don't want to take from you. I don't want to extract from you. I'm not asking for performance. I'm not asking to earn something. But I want to share in this experience and feel that like replenishing soul experience. And when that meaning is there, then you have more freedom to, yes, no, maybe let's try this. You try this, it doesn't work. You move to here, right? You experiences the nuances of each other live in that moment.
I think some of the biggest breakthroughs for us was when I could just stop and laugh, and that didn't work. Wow. I thought that was me great, and that really was dumb. Like that was, because before I'd tell you, I'll be completely honest. If I ever had suggested we try something and it didn't work, I was worried that I'd never get to suggest to try something else. Like that experience would be a scar.
It had to be like.
So I was even putting pressure on myself that it works, because I felt if I strike out, then she's never going to step up the bat again. Or she's never going to throw the pitch again, I guess.
And
that's backwards.
From the other side, it's like, if I don't perform in this, then, then I'm a failure. And there was just so much pressure in there.
Yeah, laughter just goes so a long way. It's when I was able to finally go, wow, that didn't turn out anything like I thought it was going to. I think some of our greatest experiences come after that.
Where you're like, yeah, that's totally not.
I think most recently we're like smack dab in the middle of it. I'm like, this isn't working, is it? And you're like, no, let's stop. And then we had one of our greatest nights ever, right? It's
right, you've got to have the freedom to stop, to shift, to change gears, and I think that's what eroticism is, right? It's live and in the moment, and being willing to say, yeah, totally not working. Or, oh my freaking goodness. Or all the things in between, like maybe a little this, maybe a little more this, whatever. It's got to be who you are in that moment. And so, yes, you can bring ideas. And then there has to be freedom to to collaborate in those ideas, knowing that the meaning of the idea is I want to feel you. I want to be in pleasure with you. I want to enjoy you. It's not about isolating body parts and trying to get those. It's about our body is the container for our soul. And what's so replenishing is when these souls unite. And yes, I don't know why it's created in the way it is for that to happen, but that's what it is.
And that's not saying some of these things that we come out haven't been great, right? Trying to do stuff and that has worked. It can really go both ways. I think underlying to all this is the ability to be honest. Scary as hell, I'll tell you. Like I still even get scared sometimes. I've had this experience where you haven't like flat out rejected or had said that something was gross or I didn't want to try. I mean, I haven't had that in years now, I don't think. But there still is this sense of a fine line that I feel like I'm walking sometimes if I go there, and it's being honest, just being brutally honest.
When you say brutally honest, can you describe what brutal honesty? Because some people hear that and they're like,
Then they
just
spout
throwing
everything. Yeah, I
things
want
at the-
this. We need to do that.
I just want this and you have to give it to me.
Yeah, and that's not absolutely not what I'm saying. It's so interesting because in the moment, we can say something to our spouse and it can be saying the same exact thing, but the way we phrase it can make it completely different.
What do you mean?
And I'll give you an example. I was coaching an individual recently and I said, hey, you're in the middle of this process right now where you're trying to figure out why you're trying to make the sexual experience be the same for the both of you.
Mm-hmm.
And sameness is so important. I asked him a question, why is sameness important? And he goes, would you stop me asking me questions? He's like, you asked too many questions. But that's a good one. I need to really think about that one for a second. He's like, I don't really know. I said, well, you're going through this process and thinking and trying it, then you should tell your spouse, hey, I'm going through this process and I'm trying this and I'm not sure what's going on, but I just want to let you know. And well, last time I did that, it freaked her out. And I said, well, why did it freak her out? Like, I don't know. Like I was like, hey, I'm frustrated about this. I said, can you repeat that, please? He's like, yeah. I said, hey, I'm frustrated. Do you think there's any other meaning she could have taken by that about that phrase? It's like, well, maybe. I mean, clearly she took it that you were frustrated with her, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I stopped to say, do you think that she would be frustrated if you say, I really adore you and I want to be with you and I've seen that I put pressure on you to be same like me and I've worked really hard not to do that and I don't know why I'm doing it, so I'm really working hard trying to figure out with Greg why. Does that sound frustrating? Does she get frustrated by that? And he goes, no. And so I'm saying all that because it's so easy for looking from a third party looking in.
Mm-hmm.
For me to catch hey, as soon as you said I'm frustrated, I know where she went. She went straight to, you're frustrated with me.
Right. I'm not enough. I'm broken. I'm a
Whether
failure.
that's true or not, that's what happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so really it is, when I say you be honest, it's being able to express your feelings in a way that share exactly what's going on inside you.
It usually means giving more context, being a little more vulnerable. Not as vulnerable to just say I'm frustrated, but it's far more vulnerable to say, here's where I'm stuck and spinning and lost and what I'm trying to work through and don't yet know how. And what you're doing is you're giving context for it.
So let's say tonight you went to your wife and said, I want 69. Because that's what we're celebrating our episode, right?
Mm-hmm.
What could be a better way of going about that?
I think a better way might be saying, I've been thinking about this 69 position, and what it really means to me is that both of us are equally engaged and choosing each other. And I think that's what's so enticing to me. Is there anything about this that would be enticing or interesting to you? Or how does that sound to you?
Yes. Very enticing.
Craigie.
I say we go for it, babe. Let's try it.
You're supposed to be the other
Oh,
side.
shoot. Sorry. You were getting an example. Sorry about that.
Get your role play right.
I'm sorry. But yeah, I think that's exactly right. It's being able to go back to that meat. And I think that exercise is good for both of you, right? Because you could be stuck in wanting 69 for all the wrong reasons. Right? I think this is means you really choose me if you do this. And, this is erotic. And I don't know what those are, but it's not a bad thing to check in with yourself. What is
Well,
your
sometimes people really want something sexual because they think that it will ease their sexual anxiety about themselves, about their body. And they feel like
she's willing to give this to me. That means and the anxiety that I have.
The anxiety that I have about my body will be healed. And that's why I started with, you have to first have that meaning frame of, I am desirable. My sexuality is an integral part of me. I'm not trying to get that from my spouse. I'm not trying to solve that here. That's my own work.
Yeah.
I'm trying to just experience and embody what is my sexuality and eroticism.
Yeah, this is not a specific position, but oftentimes I find my higher desire, we like to call them spontaneous desire folks, counting frequency.
Yeah.
It's a measure, right? How often am I getting it? And I told one of my clients, you could get laid every single day of the week and you still have this problem. And he's like, what are you talking about? Because the underlying problem isn't the frequency. It's that you don't feel chosen and you don't feel like you're good enough. And the messages that this client was telling themselves were awful, right? And they were just beating themselves up and talking terrible about themselves and hoping that their spouse would change that by getting laid more often.
Right. Swooping in and saying, no, you're the best thing ever. I love you so much. But again, if you don't first believe it or have that sense of yourself, you won't be able to receive it.
Well, it's the same reason why extracting validation doesn't work, right? Mm-hmm. Because no matter what that spouse does, your brain has to process through it. And ultimately, you're choosing whether you believe it or not. So you could they're full of shit. I don't believe it at all. Or you could say, oh yeah, that's right. So no matter what, you're choosing it. So if you've still got those things going on in your head and you haven't processed through the emotions or some of the anxieties or some of the things that you don't like about yourself, if you haven't processed through those, no matter how frequent you get it, no matter how crazy positions they do, no matter what they watch with you, no matter how many toys they bring into the equation, it's not going to solve the underlying problem.
Right. It doesn't bring that fulfillment that presence does. And first you need to be present with yourself so that you can be present with another.
I have started doing something, and I've talked about it before, but I'll bring it here because I think it's also works here, is that I am totally okay with fantasizing. Like I used to feel a little guilty, like it was bad and I couldn't do it. And I'm totally okay with it now. I don't think it's bad. It's good. I think it's healthy. But what I have found is if I stay in that state of fantasy and then try to act that out with Amy, then as soon as I do that, I've put an expectation on it now. Mm-hmm. And it's gone from this life-filling fantasy and this exciting thing that you can breathe and feel to an expectation that has a measurable, and eroticism kind of dies.
It's like expecting me to show up to a play without a script and knowing, like expecting me to know the lines and what's going to happen.
Right.
Like you have the script and I don't.
Right. And I'm like, why don't you know your line? Come on. This is what you're supposed to be doing. And so I have started doing this on a regular basis, and it's really, really, really helped for me. I'll allow myself to go into that fantasy and to think about it and be excited about it and enjoy it. But in the moment when I'm about to share that with Amy, I take a moment to center myself, to come back to reality. And if that's nothing else than just laying by her and breathing and listening to my breath and realizing here I am in this bed next to Amy. She's my wife. I love her. This is what the moment is. And starting from that place has helped a ton. Because all of a sudden those expectations are gone. I just want to be in the moment. And if all it is to breathe you in and hold you, that's fantastic. If it's to be able to crush your breasts, that's fantastic. If it escalates beyond, that's even fantastic. So no matter what it is, it's all fantastic because I've rid myself of the expectation. I've been able to enjoy and have that fantasy, but now I'm in the now. I'm in the moment. I'm here. I'm present with you and willing to co-create.
We can attune together, which was kind of like the analogy one of my clients gave me. Like, oh, it's not like a play where you expect them to come in and not have the script. It's like improv, right?
Yes.
Where you show up in a context.
What's your line anyway?
Both of you were, live and in the moment and responding and
here's a
playing off
topic. You have a
each other.
topic you're talking about, but you're responding to it, right?
Right. It's very, very live, and it's not something that can be scripted beforehand, and it's in the moment. And I was like, yes.
Yeah. No, it took a lot of painful moments for me to kind of realize that. And even when I got braver and you got really good at not yucking my yum and being willing to try things, I still found myself, if I stayed in that fantasy, and then let's go back to the same scenario. I'm in the morning and I'm laying next to you, but I'm in this fantasy. I have automatically put expectations on what it's going to look like. And that never goes well. It has never gone well once. Because no matter what, you can't meet those expectations because you don't know what they are.
Right. And I think being able to not yuck your yum. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
I was like, wait, is that double
That's,
negative?
I mean, that's huge. So talk a little more about that.
Because I think responsive desire, lower desire, we have a higher disgust factor. We have a higher sensitivity factor. That is normal. And when you're not in a state of arousal, sometimes the presentation to you of things, your mind hasn't made that shift yet. When you are aroused, it does generally lower the disgust factor. But remember, responsive desire takes a while to be aroused. And even in arousal, there may still be some of that. And again, you want to stay true to you, but you also want to recognize what the meanings are, right? Because sometimes I have a lot of clients who are like, is this sanitary? Is this hygienic? Is saliva or spit actually okay? And they're like afraid to kiss, shall we say, because you might touch saliva or something, or maybe they're afraid of other bodily fluids. And so, again, in order to not yuck your yum, I had to first get more comfortable in my body and recognize that all of my body, all of the parts of it were there to receive and give pleasure in this physical, intimate setting. And that was the purpose and the meaning. And that helped lower some of those like disgust factors, knowing that, yes, I'm not going to go around sharing spit and saliva with other people, right? You're like, ew, gross. But in this context,
it's wonderful.
It has a different meaning. And why is it this context that has that meaning? I don't know. Ask whoever designed intimacy. I don't know. But it's about being willing to share all of you with someone else. And so that meaning frame helps my brain shift from maybe like saliva is gross to this is about connection and sharing and choosing. And so it lowers those other factors.
Yeah.
And also not yucking your yum, learning the meanings behind fantasy, the meanings of overcoming insecurity or solving the problem of sexuality being okay or being chosen or being threatened or jealousy, realizing that there were meanings under sexuality and it was never an expectation about doing the thing, but the way that the mind and the brain can wire to take our innermost selves and allow it to be arousing or erotic.
Things that you never really want to do in real life,
yes,
can become erotic. And I can testify to the fact that when you're aroused, there's certain things that sound very pleasing and desirable.
Appealing.
And then as soon as you're not, then because I've had this fantasy of like, we're going to do this.
Yes.
We're going to do this. But it has to come after I've come. And it never comes because as soon as I'm done, I'm like, I don't want to do that. That's disgusting.
Yeah. So arousal does
So
lower.
even in the most trisexual person you could probably find on the planet here, because I am definitely trisexual.
We will try anything, not
trisexual.
Not try as in three.
Whatever. Yes, our friends said, yeah, my husband is trisexual. He'll try anything sexual. And I am definitely part of the trisexual club. So even being the grand poobah of that club,
don't think I've heard that word in a long time. I'm going to call you my grand
Yeah,
poobah.
can I get a t-shirt? I'm the grand poobah of the Tricycle Club. Even being the grand poobah of the trisexual club, arousal puts you in a mind frame that means something. And when that arousal is gone, that meaning goes away too.
Right. So have some compassion on your lower or responsive desire spouses,
Yep.
knowing that once arousal is present, there might be a little more bandwidth, but also work on meanings first.
How do you do that? This is interesting to me, knowing that, but you have to bring up the idea beforehand. So it's like, hey, when we get aroused, can we take a little time out? I have a suggestion.
No, I'm saying a lot of ways that I see this happen is couples sharing in
General ideas.
like what they desire in the meaning frame. Like, I really desire to feel chosen, loved, valued, you're one. And a lot of those tie back into different fantasies or why different sex acts or positions or scenarios are so enticing. And so you can have that conversation outside, but also recognize that in the moment of arousal, there could be shifts.
Yeah. I also think this, and this brought up while you were saying that, because we are so different in the way that we get aroused and is completely different.
Yes.
Completely different.
Again,
I am very much more visual in my arousal, and that's very much normal for the higher desire or the spontaneous desire.
yes.
You're very much contextual.
Yes.
The story behind it, the meaning
And
frame behind
the
it.
meanings, emotions, context.
Right.
Yes.
So I think the other day I find like, I know, just play along with me. Like, because we're in this thing and we're all excited and aroused. And she was trying to go back and explain to me, it doesn't really, the visual part's not the thing that's arousing me. It's the content. I'm like, I know. Doesn't matter. Just play along. Right. We're both aroused. Enjoy it. So I think there's some of that too. Right. We're different and that's fine. That's where eroticism is born. So sometimes just play along.
Yeah.
I don't need to know that's the way you're enjoying it. And to be said that like you did, and it was very enjoyable. So I think there's some of that too.
That's the flexible part of eroticism, right? When we talk about the domestic part of your life being like the banks of a river and the eroticism being the flowing river, that's flexible. It's not really rigid. There's room to create, to answer, to move, to be live in the moment, right? It's very, I'm trying to think of another word other than flexible. Flowing. It's fluid.
It's that river, the river analogy, the banks. We have guidelines, but we flow. It doesn't stay put.
Right.
Yep. Well, everyone go try 69.
What we
Celebrate our episode.
Greggy boy.
No?
Grand poobah. That is not what we said.
If you belong to the trisexual club, which I am the grand poobah of. All right, that's not what we said. We said, what did we say? Enjoy yourself.
I'm like, what are you going to say? I'm waiting right here to be like, oh, what's you going to say?
We said, go review and give us stars. And we will enter you into a contest to celebrate our episode number 69. Thank you so much for listening. It is a pleasure to be able to have this opportunity to chat with y'all. Just met another one of our podcast listeners today at a free consult, and it was very fun. We actually found out that this individual probably delivered packages to our door at one time.
Isn't that
We
crazy?
didn't even know.
It's a small world, y'all.
It's a very small world. So it is a pleasure to meet with you. We would love to have a free consult. So go up on langfordlifecoaching.com, hit that free consult button, go review and like the podcast, and we will enter you into the contest. And we are very excited about that. So until next time.
Keep undressing your intimacy.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Graham.